Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm an intuitive and an energy worker here in New York. I see clients who are currently in narcissistic relationships, clients who are recovering from narcissistic abuse. I myself was in a narcissistic relationship, and I'll tell you what, you can be the most intuitive person in the world and still be caught up in this sort of relationship. And why? Because narcissists lie. You could you could say, I know you're lying. I know you're manipulating me. I know you're going behind my back. You can have all this evidence, but if somebody lies to you, how are you going to validate it? How are you going to get them to validate it? Well, I'm here to help you validate what you're seeing. I'm going to mention some behaviors that I have seen and that I have a sense of what is behind them. So hopefully this will help you, and I'm going to share them with you. So you've probably heard of the narcissistic stare. Well, it is a thing. And if you notice it, be wary. So you could seemingly be having a lighthearted conversation. And when there is a pause in the conversation and you're sitting next to the person in question, do you notice this blank, dark glare that seems to be filled with disdain, and they are just glaring at you, and their eyes are pitch black, and it looks like they hate you, and there's no context for this. There is nothing within the conversation there was no conflict in the conversation. It was not an argument, but they are just glaring at you when they think that you are not looking, and it happens a lot. It's something to be very wary about. And what's behind this? Well, my sense is that, first of all, there's an element within them that does not like you at all. Maybe it's based in the fact that there was somebody in their past that you remind them of that they perceived did them wrong. Also, they're also very insecure people. And most likely you are an extremely compassionate person and they have no ability for compassion and they're jealous of you. Or you might have other talents that they're jealous of. So if you see that, take warning. Another thing is this narcissistic scan. And it's similar to the narcissistic stare, but what they do is when they look you in the face, they are scanning you from the top of your head to the bottom of your chin, like they are measuring you up. It's kind of like the Terminator. Have you ever seen those movies where he has this like digital printout and he's like staring at somebody, scanning them up and down? Well, that's what they do, and it's very unnerving. You're like looking at them and saying, what are you looking at? It is my sense that what they are doing is they are very superficial. They judge people a lot on looks. And if something doesn't seem to fit their ideal, they might say, that's off. And they're very judgmental, and they might go to another source because you are not fitting their fantasy ideal. Another thing is they're paying attention to the way you're reacting to how you're interacting with them. And if you don't seem totally engaged with what they're saying, totally empathetic to everything that they're saying, paying the utmost attention to them, well, that is not what they want. And they might want to go to another person. So those two things I've noticed. Also, if you speak to them on the phone, and most of the time they have a normal tonality to their voice, different, ups and downs of their vocal tones. But sometimes if you call them at a time or talk to them at a time when they're busy, they have a very monotone, condescending sound to their voice, as if they're very chastising. And that you can just imagine the facial expression that they have when they're speaking to you, similar to probably that stare. So it's very interesting that their voice can change so drastically from their normal speaking voice to this monotone, almost sinister sort of sort of inflection in their voice, or lack of inflection, I'd say. So pay attention to those things. It's like two different people live in their heads, and that is actually the case. There's the person they play, like the acting role, and then the real person. And that's when, with the narcissistic stare, that's the real person. Another thing that you have probably seen or witnessed, and it's absolutely no coincidence, is the contrived drama or conflicts that seem to be scheduled. So have you ever been having just a normal conversation, minding your own business, and all of a sudden this person picks a fight with you? Could be over nothing or something that happened a long time ago, and you try to diffuse the situation, but there is no diffusing it. And it could be seemingly over the smallest thing. And what happens? You either say, look, I can't deal with this anymore, we have to take a break, or they say, I can't deal with your accusations, this is too much, we have to take a break. Well, that's not a coincidence. It's planned. It's planned by them. And why? Because they've either been seeking out a new source, or they want to seek a new. So they either have been talking to somebody else behind your back, or they plan to. So what happens next? You take a break, and then after that person's used up that other source, they call you back. It happens all the time. And people have arguments. It's just a normal thing within relationships. You have disagreements. But if you see a pattern to it where it comes out of nowhere, there's absolutely no context for the drama or an argument to start, and then you take a break, they call you back, it happens again, you take a break, they call you back. It's not a coincidence. It's absolutely planned on their part. So I hope this has helped. And the main thing with recognizing that you are with a narcissist is recognizing behavior patterns. If something makes you feel unsettled, if it seems like your closest friends would never do these things to you, and you would actually get rid of a friend if they ever did these things to you, why would you stay with a person in a romantic relationship who makes you feel so unsettled, like you're walking on eggshells, that just doesn't make you feel loved? So please take care of yourselves, and hope to see you again. Bye.